Live from the Export Beer Garden Studios, this is the Agenda podcast for February the 5th.
The Agenda, an alternative commentary collective podcast.
G'day there, welcome along to the Monday podcast. Myself, G Lane, and Matt Heath, where I think potentially we may be the only ones in the country at work today.
We failed to Le Pont.
Le Pont. We failed to build the bridge between the weekend and the public holiday.
It's a freaking ghost town on the streets.
I know.
Only the biggest tards in the whole country have not organised their break, and that's us.
Yeah.
Mind you, you in the ACC have got the Test cricket on, so
Yes.
it's pretty hard to Le Pont a Test game. Test cricket. Well, why are they playing today?
They should have a rest day. Bring back the rest day in cricket.
I know that would make sense. Then they'd have to have a rest day on Waitangi Day as well.
Yeah, because obviously tomorrow's Waitangi. Hey, a test match yesterday, day one. The first test for us quite some time. We've had an orgy of T20 and one day white ball cricket. So test cricket returned to the Bay Oval. And yesterday, look, I mean, if you look at the stats at the end of the day, you've got Williamson on 100, Ravindra on 100, New Zealand 250 for 230 for 2. You look at it and go, that looks pretty good.
Yeah.
But for the first two sessions, they were scoring at just over 2 runs and over and really battling with that pitch and how slow it was.
And they were 2 down reasonably early.
Yes, Conway got one from the Maoriki bowler first up, a good nut. And then Dane Patterson, who's got a dangerously big ass, managed to snick out Latham. But what resulted was some good old ACC diving into topics and into areas that we had little to no knowledge on. And just instead of pulling out, this is what I enjoy about the ACC, instead of pulling back and say, hey, we shouldn't talk about this.
Yeah.
We just balls in.
Well,
balls and all.
Because there's not that much happening on the screen. So if there's any topic that interests us at all, everyone's all in.
Yeah.
So there's no pulling out, even if it's career ending, because you need something to talk about. But there was some good stuff that came out of yesterday. It wasn't all terrible. I thought that idea that we had around the menopause, where you, me, Lee Hart, Jeremy Wells, Lee Baker, we do a 10-part podcast series, hour-long episodes where we discuss women's menopause.
Putting the men in menopause, I think,
Because men are affected by menopause more than women.
And also,
because they get all weird. I don't know. I haven't experienced anyone going through menopause yet, but
it's coming.
But we are the victims of it as well, aren't we?
We are. I mean, we're heavily involved while not being involved.
Yeah.
And again, this is the way we just kind of weigh our way through it, kind of just feeling our way through it to understand it a bit more. Because for us, like you're saying, we just get the probably the rough end of it.
Yeah.
In terms of emotionally.
Yeah.
Not physically. I mean, that's probably more the woman's side of it.
There was only one topic that you really wanted to pull out of, and that's when I was asking the question, why aren't the H's, B's, and P's invited to the LBGT?
Yeah, no.
Q plus community.
I don't think.
Why the H's are being left with the paedophiles and the bestialists? So H's, perfectly normal way to behave. We're left out in the cold with the paedophiles and the bestiality guys. Well, meanwhile, the rainbow community's having a good time over there. Like, let's just invite the H's and invite us H's into the rainbow community, and then we can all have our say on the P's and the B's.
Yeah, I think just leave the P's and the B's need to stay out.
No one wants to be in that community.
No. But we're with them. For some reason
we've been lumped in with them outside of the bloody Pride Parade.
Yeah.
So
yeah, tune in today. Who knows what's going to happen? But luckily, in the third session, it came good. I think we scored over. We almost tripled the amount of runs scored in the first 2 sessions. In the last session,
there was some swashbuckling, but there was actually a lot of middling of the ball, and a lot of beautiful shots that were just going straight to fielders.
Well, the thing is, they had such a defensive field.
Yeah.
It's the most one-dimensional bowling attack I've seen in some time, and rightly so, because it's basically a first-class bowling attack. You got the Maoriki bowler. He looks pretty handy. He looks a young kid. He was on debut. But then you got Dane Patterson, who's kind of a squashed version of Darren Goff. Then you've got Bruno from the movie Bruno. And then you got Michael Laws, who's just a skinny, ratty guy with a...
And then, so they bowled 60 overs with those 4 to very little reward. And then they brought out this twerker. That looks exactly like Mash, the producer of the Matt and Jerry Breakfast Show. He's got the most aggressive tongue action as he's coming in to bowl his deliveries that don't seem to get any movement at all.
And he didn't turn one.
No, he didn't turn one. And we were going, why? They've got to go. Why aren't they trying him? Like they've got so many overs with no result. And then he came on. Brand is his name. Yeah. Neil Brand.
He's the captain as well.
He's the captain
on debut.
And then he did a power of work to not much effect.
Well, I think the field was so defensive. It was we had one slip and then they had a ring field. Hence,
what's the plan with that? What's the plan? I mean, you've got to get at some point. You've got to get 10 wickets.
Are they playing for the draw?
No,
Are they playing for the draw?
Or they're just trying to tempt us into batting for 3 days.
Yeah, well, this is and then they'll just have to survive 2 days, maybe. But I'd say today New Zealand will declare, and I'd say they'll declare in the third session, and then try and snick a few out before the end of day's play. I imagine. Put 400 on the board, 450, declare, get out there, have maybe even a full session. At the end, if they can get a few runs, you got Daryl Mitchell to come. You got Glenn Phillips to come.
Daryl Mitchell had his pads on for so long yesterday.
Yeah,
he was just standing there walking around. I was watching with his pads on, like that was a long stint in the pads, and then finally took them off because they swapped over for a night watchman.
I think I've got some money on him today with the game day good punt of Mitchell just hit a 6 and a 4.
Oh, he will.
Yeah, and it's paid $5.
Mitchell will come out and he'll see that bowling attack and he'll be like, he'll light up.
He'll lick his lips more.
Especially we've got a big base. I mean, we've got a solid platform now. He'll just lick his lips and go absolutely loose.
So from 11 o'clock today, tune in. Another cricketing news. South African cricket great Faf du Plessis has released his book. Oh. And there's a whole chapter on why he hates New Zealanders. Not just a few, everyone.
Right.
He hates everyone, but he's over it now. But he said for a period of his career, he had extreme feelings of resentment towards all New Zealanders.
What for?
It was a result of a 2011 Cricket World Cup match where he was relatively new on the scene. And he, at the press conference, talked about his experience in pressure situations and his experience in international cricket after playing just a handful of games. And for some reason, the New Zealand team just picked up on that. And it's a classic kind of just, let's just target one player, which New Zealand used to do quite a lot to South Africa. And they targeted Faf. His book's called FAF Through the Fire, which is probably the worst name.
Should have been called Faf and Paf.
Faf and Paf, du Plessis Allen. But anyway, he talks about his treatment at the hands of Brendan McCullum, Scott Stires, Daniel Vittori, Ross Taylor, and even 12th man Kyle Mills. Now, if you remember, this is the infamous game where Kyle Mills was carrying the drinks and ended up almost in fisticuffs and almost a shoving match with Faf. And I think that's what annoyed him the most was like, look, I can take it from Vittori, that bespeckled four-eyed motherfucker. I can take it from McCullum, Taylor. You're the 12th. The fuck it out of here. And I think that's what grated him because he ended up running out AB de Villiers in that match and basically lost them the match.
So the line was what was the line of attack?
Well, apparently the line of attack was that they were upset that he said that he had international experience.
Right.
And he had only played 4 or 5 games.
So they were like, so many international experience. Like, tell us all about your international experience. I understand that you're very experienced. So in your 5 games, what have you learnt from your experience? That kind of thing.
And then when he ran out, AB, the team surrounded him and just gave it to him about how experienced that was. It was a good experience for you. But he won't. And then of course, Kyle Mills comes out as a pop. And that's what he says. That's what really broke him. When the 12th man started having a go, he was like, what the fuck are you doing? Give me a go at me. Anyway, as a result, he doesn't actually say exactly what was said. He just said and he just for a long time he hated all New Zealanders. And Kyle Mills got fined 120% of his match fee
for having a go when he was bringing the drinks out.
So he had to pay the ICC for bringing the drinks out, and he's always said that he's deeply regretted. It's the most shameful act he's ever done on the cricket field.
He's such a nice guy, Kyle Mills. I can't imagine it.
I know, and if Vittori got fined 50% of his match fee, it got swept under the carpet, didn't it? Like, everyone thought his sun shined out of his ass, but he got stuck into.
It was the other time when he fired up there was one other time when Dan fired up. When was that? That was
England.
In England, yeah.
When they knocked over Grant Elliott and then ran him out.
Yeah.
That's right. And off the balcony, he was effing and blinding.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's taken him a long time to get over it. So he said he felt like a bar brawl when he was when he was approached by Kyle Mills. But then he said it took him ages to get over it, and it wasn't until he was in the same team as Scott Styris in the IPL, and he was sat round a table, and like I think it was Albie Morkel. They were sat there not talking to each other, like a couple of kids. And Albie Morkel, another South African player, said, "Guys, come on, the World Cup is a thing. You guys need to put that game behind you, seriously." And he says, "As in couples therapy, I first had some things to get off my chest. I wanted to know what Scott had to say for himself and his teammates." This is years later.
Faf.
Oh, what a pussy. At the onset of therapy, you usually look for someone else to blame for your own behaviour. Why had they targeted me specifically? It was nothing personal, merely tactical. Fair enough. It was a World Cup knockout match. It made me feel slightly better. So they basically said, it was just a tactic, and we saw you as the weakest link.
Scotty Styris probably hadn't thought about it since the time.
And also, then he also couldn't work out how Brendan McCullum had got away with not being punished, because Vittori got punished, Mills got punished, Scott, I don't think Styris got punished, but he said he copped the most from McCullum. And McCullum later on told him that if he wanted to abuse him, he would scratch the ground behind the stumps. So all you could hear is on the stumps as he went, "You piece of shit."
So the audio couldn't be.
So he said, hearing this, I had to let go of my bitterness towards them. I couldn't hold a grudge for that. I was impressed. His resourcefulness earned my admiration.
It must have really annoyed Faf when Brendan McCullum, did that speech at Lord's about sportsmanship and the way we want the game to be played, and got lauded as the greatest sportsman in the history of the game, and having the exact spirit, and New Zealand just celebrated as the spirit of the game team, and like Baz now captain of England, and I think coach of England. And I think that stemmed from that great speech at Lord's that the whole world loved.
Yeah.
And that put him on the track to that, and also being a great New Zealander and fantastic. So just Faf going, you pieces of shit. Like, those guys. Those fucking guys are the fucking spirit of cricket.
But then he finishes it with, he also added that time had healed his dislike of all New Zealanders. So he doesn't hate us all anymore. So you can
like
sleep well.
Even kids and
he hated
women,
everyone.
Men, women, children,
anyone.
kids.
Yep. Disabled, all of them. Everyone. He had no filter. He hated all of us. But having had the privilege of playing against and with New Zealanders over the years, I now want to make my revised position clear. They are by far the nicest people on the international circuit.
Oh, bless Faf.
They are genuine people.
Mate, there's a beachfront property in Browns Bay waiting for you, mate.
With your name on it.
With your name on it. Yeah. Castor Bay.
Maidangi. We'll go up to Red Beach, Browns Bay, anywhere up there.
Anywhere. There's a property with your name on it.
So he says, I enjoy them as individuals and as cricketers. They are as tough as they come, but also what we South Africans like to call lekker blokes, which is good blokes.
All right.
So he finished it off. So he started off hot saying he hates everyone, but then he finished his article with saying that he actually loves everyone. But like I was going to say, I really want to know what exactly was said. Maybe it's something we need to corner Vittori on and discuss that with him. But it's some interesting insights into Faf and Paf.
I might read Faf and Paf.
Faf and Paf into the fire.
Faf and Paf into the fire.
Righto, we'll take a quick break. We'll be back in just a moment. Righto, rugby. A lot of rugby action in the weekend, Matt Heath.
Six Nations kicked off?
Yeah, I had a multi on Six Nations, and I have to say, fuck you, Wales, because I predicted Ireland to beat France, and they humped them. France got a red card in the first 5 minutes. That didn't help. And then England farted past Italy. And then I had, in the third leg of the multi, I had Wales over Scotland in Wales. Gatlin's in charge again. I thought, he's going to send them right. They got beaten last year by Scotland. Anyway, Scotland went out to a 27-0 lead and won 27-26.
Wow.
So my third leg of my multi didn't come off by 1 point. So
the Six Nations is just the perfect and simplicity of a tournament.
Totally.
Just everyone plays each other.
Everyone plays each other, but each year it swaps. So like, England played Wales and played Scotland in Twickenham last year. They're going to play up in Murrayfield this year. It just moves around, and everyone plays everyone and just switches around.
Every game's sold out. It's just so simple to understand.
Yeah.
It's not like it's not mind you, we're trying to complicate things, aren't we, now with that that new tournament that's starting up, the 10 team wounder.
Oh, God,
that's going to undermine
I've
the
ignored
10 team wounder that's going to undermine the Rugby World Cup, and just keep it simple.
There's only so much rugby I can deal in my head. I'm like Homer Simpson. You're going to have to take something out. If you want to put in your 10 thing, you're going to have to remove something else.
Yeah.
So whether it's scrum resets or something else,
That's why in Super Rugby, to keep it simple, I only support 2 teams fully in the Super Rugby.
Blues and the Highlanders.
Yeah.
You're like the sandwich, aren't you? Of the New Zealand Super Rugby sandwich.
Yeah.
Just top and bottom.
Top and bottom.
That's it.
I don't care what's in the sandwich. I don't care.
And there's some warm-up games. Both the Chiefs and the Blues are over in Japan playing some warm-ups. Crusaders are over in London playing warm-ups. What a way to start the season is a 27-hour flight.
Yeah.
Back and forwards to Europe.
What's your prediction for Super Rugby this year? I think the Crusaders will start off slower than you expect. And they may drop a few games.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
massively biased. I'm thinking the Chiefs have lost a few players, but they've still got a pretty strong team. Hurricanes, I reckon, look pretty good.
They've lost the stubby cooler. You'll be upset about that.
Yeah, I know. Peter Gus stubby cooler's gone. Well, so is Lurch. So is Weber. So we've lost quite a few. So anyway, what did I read out in the weekend? Did you read about the referees have come out? They've resurfaced the referee abuse angle around, and everyone's coming, you can't abuse the referees. Everyone knows that. Everyone knows you can't abuse the referees.
Yeah.
But who gets on social media and threatens referees?
Yeah.
Who does that?
Yeah.
You abuse them on commentary, sure.
Yeah.
But you can't just get on social media. And look, death threats, can someone follow through?
Yeah. Yeah. my thing is, like, any abuse on social media doesn't count as abuse, though. There's people that saying that they're getting abuse on the internet. You're not getting abuse on the internet. That doesn't exist. It's not a real thing. It's just you don't know anything about the people that are doing it. The people that get upset about that, I mean, abuse in real life, face to face.
Yes.
That's something.
That's quite confronting.
But a death threat on social media is not a death threat. People saying that whenever anyone does something terrible, they go, I'm getting death threats. It's like, well, some dickhead who was slightly angry and had 5 too many beers and was a big fan of the other side goes, put something on social media. That's not a death threat. That's just someone writing some crap.
Yeah, look, and I'd like more details on the death threat.
Yeah.
How are you going to do it?
Yeah.
When are you going to do it?
Yeah.
And like
death threat. The only death threat that I consider legit is one's cut out of bits of newspaper stuck to a.
Yes.
If something comes on a bit of paper, cut out a little bits of newspaper, that's serious.
And delivered into your letterbox by hand. It hasn't been posted, so they know where you live.
That's a death threat. On social media, it's not a death threat.
So we also discussed yesterday on the commentary who you'd call if you murdered someone.
Oh, yeah.
Disappointingly, both you and Lee Baker chose me.
Yeah. Why? That's a compliment.
What is it, though? Because immediately I'm incriminated. So I either call the police immediately and send you to jail, or I help you and I go to jail, or we get away with it.
Or you don't help us, and then we've got so much dirt on you that you then get blackmailed into helping, and then you go to jail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like...
but there's other people, dodgy people that I know that I'd call like Lee Hart, but I just don't think he can be trusted to turn up.
Yeah, this is true.
Like he'd be like, yeah. What time? What time we throwing the body in? Yep. We'll put it on the back of my jet ski,
and then you'd be like,
take it out, and then I'm there with the body in the bag, and he's like, hey, I just run into a few mates. We're at the Mangawhai Tavern. Just run into a few mates, and then it's like 4 days later. Yeah, sorry about that. You know what I mean? And
then also, you'd be like, have you got me on speakerphone?
Yeah.
It's just Dave and Steve and a few of the other boys. It's all right.
Yeah.
Like, okay. So
So
now everyone knows.
Yeah. And if you try to get Jeremy Wells, he'd be like, well, what's the corpse wearing? You're like, what? What's he wearing? He's like, kind of, is he like?
Is he still warm?
Is he still warm? Yeah. He'd be like, is he still warm? What's he wearing? Can I have 20 minutes alone with the body? You know what I mean? So in a way, it's a compliment. And Lee Baker would want to do an autopsy. He'd be peeling it open, looking at things. He'd be doing a full investigation. So it's actually a compliment.
And then people started sending in suggestions to 3236 on the Kogan mobile text machine that we've got now, is around how to get rid of a body. And some people just went into disturbing detail around chopping up bones, putting it in an old washing machine, and welding up the door, and then dropping it to at least 40 to 50 meters of ocean.
Yeah.
And
I think the best advice we got was Google now how to get rid of a body.
Yes.
When you don't have a body.
Yeah.
And and then there's no connection to it. But don't Google just before you get rid of the body, or anywhere near it. So
Yeah,
Google
yeah.
now and memorize it.
Yeah, knowledge. You need the knowledge.
Because I'll get access to your digital information and they'll go, oh, you just Googled how to get rid of a body just moments before that you were seen carrying a large plastic bag out of your house and putting it in a boot.
That's when you need Encyclopedia Britannica, doesn't it? When you
Yeah.
need to get rid of a body, you don't need a digital footprint. You just need to thumb through the encyclopedia for body disposal.
Back in the day, did they go through and they found warm fingerprints on how to dispose of a body? And they go, you looked up how to dispose of a body in your Encyclopedia Britannica.
No, I didn't.
I didn't.
I did not. How
Yeah.
dare you? How dare you? Anyway, anything else going on in the sporting world at the moment? Oh, Super Bowl. So I've heard there's rumours coming out that if Taylor Swift, which we said we wouldn't mention, if she turns up to Super Bowl to watch, it will double the audience that will tune into the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Well, from 100 million to 200 million.
Yeah. That's
Wow.
what they reckon.
I don't quite understand why people are angry at going to Taylor Swift and at the Super Bowl. I think it's outsized annoyance at it. Who cares? I can't quite get my head around the annoyance of it. I can kind of get it because you've really cared about it. And the thing about an American sport is they really freaking care, and they're just like, this is a distraction or anything, and this isn't normal. I don't like it. It's upsetting the apple cart. They care in a way that is right down to their very soul, whether the Chiefs win. And so that's annoying. And I think they don't like people coming on board the game. But surely you want the game to be for the wrong reasons. But I like Taylor Swift's angle on it. She goes, I'd never watched NFL before.
Yeah.
I start having sex with this giant human being. It's the best sex I've ever had. I start going to the games.
The big T.
The big T. I start going to the games. I realise it's the greatest sport in the world, and now I freaking love it. I mean, that's what you want, right? You want people to come to the sport. I don't quite get the annoyance at Tay-Tay.
Yeah, it's going to be potentially the biggest watched Super Bowl
Getting her in there.
ever. How are you going to get her in there? I have no idea.
Because at the games, when someone will wheel past just a trolley with some food on it,
Yeah.
and the whole place will go crazy because they think they've got Taylor Swift hidden in it. And they're trying to get her into the corporate box.
Everyone should just walk around with body-sized like flight cases, thinking it's her.
But they're two very hateable teams, the Chiefs and the 49ers.
Yeah.
So you need to have something on it. Although I got a bit of time for Purdy. He's pretty cool. The QB for 49ers. The problem for me is I'm a big Rams fan, and the 49ers always fuck up the Rams.
Yeah,
and so I've got a lot of
Animosity.
pent-up animosity towards the 49ers. It's only based on just the time they just ran it up the guts 40 players in a row just to fuck over the Matthew Stafford. And anyway, it doesn't matter.
So
and
it's
the boys.
Super Bowl Monday, midday. It's the event we've got at the Sweatshop Brew Kitchen is sold out. 260 people rammed into the for a.
I'm so excited about this.
Really get on the back.
I'm
foot
actually
on a
excited
Monday.
about this because often I have too much skin in the game in the Super Bowl, and I get all nervous.
Yeah, you were terrible when the Rams won.
Oh, that was the greatest. That no look pass from bloody Matthew Stafford to Cooper Kupp. That's the coolest thing I've ever seen. And then we're like, finally, we're going to win. This is great. Yeah. But no, I don't really have a lot of skin in the game, so it'll just be really fun.
We've also got a bunch of NFL merch to give away.
Yeah.
Thanks to Hallensteins, because Hallenstein Brothers are now official clothing partner of the ACC. And I like the direction they're going, actually, because I've got now Warriors supporters gear,
Yeah.
I've got NFL supporters kit. So, and Hallensteins now as well. So we've got 3 sets of kit to give away on our social media. So just jump on the Facebook or the Insta and check it out. We'll give that away.
And from a personal perspective, the Hallensteins jackets that they bring the ACC are nice, breathy. They're kind of linen-y.
Yeah, we've got new suits as well from Hallensteins.
Because like a full suit summer uniform has always been an interesting choice for me.
Yeah, it's the heavy cotton was an interesting choice. But I tell you what, I've done a lot of things for my 11-year-old son. I've taken him to a lot of events. He's quite sport in what he gets to go to. You get invited to movie premieres and all sorts, and you go to all sorts of stuff. Single-handedly, I think the greatest thing he thinks I've ever done is partner with Hallensteins. And now he is badgering me for like discount codes. Yeah. He just absolutely loves, because I've got those new basketball shorts they sell in there as well, with LA and Chicago and Los Angeles on them. He's got a full gambit of those.
Yeah.
He could spend all his life in that shop.
Yeah.
He wants NFL kit. Big Dolphins fan. Purely because of the colour, I think.
Yeah.
But he's a big Raiders fan.
The Arquo has brought a lot of people to the Dolphins.
Yeah. He's a Raiders fan as well. So he's like, did you bring my Raiders shorts? I'm like, I don't have like a free card at Hallenstein's.
But Raiders gear is the coolest. When I was a kid, I was big into the Oakland Raiders when they were the Oakland Raiders.
Yeah.
And I had all the Oakland Raiders gear, and I was like, it's just such a good look.
When they were they were the LA Raiders.
They were the LA Raiders. Yeah. They were Oakland Raiders and the LA Raiders.
Yeah.
Now they're the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah. So also at the event, at the Super Bowl event, so we've got a more NFL merch to give away at the event. We've got bonus bets for the TAB to punt on the game as it's going, plus 2 return flights to LA with Air New Zealand Grab a Seat to give away.
Oh, good.
It's all booked out. Tables are booked out. I'm pretty sure you could roll up and lean on the bar.
Yeah.
There's heaps of
roll up and lean on the bar.
Roll up and lean on the bar.
It's going to be a great time.
It's going to be a good time. Starting on the back foot. We have a live band from 3 o'clock once it finishes as well.
Ruder.
Yeah, it's Ruder's playing. Because the idea is you can't go back to work or go home at 3 o'clock.
No.
That is uncalled for. You can't really go home at 4. You'll be embroiled in some sort of if you've got kids, a pickup situation. So stay on. We've got band for 3 hours. Get home about 7.
Yeah.
Is probably the ideal.
I'm planning to get absolutely rinsed.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay.
That's good to know. I'm glad I've got that in the back there. I'll just mark that off. Matt Heath to get absolutely rinsed.
Yeah.
But it's good though. Day drinking's good because you can have a good sleep and you wake up.
And you wake up and do your breakfast show at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Fresh as a daisy.
Fresh as a daisy.
A few demons.
Quite a few.
lot of self-hatred. And then just get back on with your life.
So that's the agenda for today, truncated agenda, because we have got some live commentary to do of day 2 of the test match from Mount Maunganui.
And can I just say I'm grateful because I'm painting my house, and so I'm going to have the ACC on all day because I've been rostered off today, so I'll just be listening to you guys. So I'll be with you all day.
There's something you came in the commentary yesterday with your dungarees, with your painting dungarees, and there was something slightly hot about you coming in those dungarees, and you had paint on you like you'd in some of those movies when like the couples are painting and someone flicks the paint at the other couple and then they end up making mad love on the floor and there's paint everywhere.
Man,
that's look like that. You look like you just come off a set of one of those.
I'm getting so much action since I started painting in those Dulux overalls, I tell you.
Can you paint today with nothing on under the overalls and just send me a pic of just and just kick off one arm of the overalls so you've just got one across there?
Of course.
Okay.
Oh, great. Absolutely. But it rides right up my ass, those overalls, a little bit. But that's fine.
Keep talking.
All right.
Right, you seem busy. We'll let you go.
Okay. All right.
See you later.
All right, then.
You've been listening to the ACC's Agenda podcast. For more episodes, subscribe on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts.